Hi there, and welcome to my Soul Authority channel. I'm Lorraine Van Tool, transformational life coach, holistic psychologist, and meditation guide. I'm staking out the safe spiritual space in solidarity so we can hear our authentic voice over all the noise and realign ourselves with clear choice. This is at the heart of Soul Authority. If you felt burned out and low, join us in rekindling our inner fires and getting back in the flow. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be talking about our soul callings and our soul missions. A lot of us stumble on upon this subject and don't really have a clear understanding what this is. And of course, like so many other important matters, we don't really learn about this in school. Um, Ideas that I've heard and ideas that I think a lot of people tend to have about soul callings, and not that they're wrong and not that I have the ultimate answer, but a lot of people tend to think, oh, I'm doing a job that is really soul sucking and terrible, and my soul calling, this really exciting work, is waiting for me somewhere. And they tend to imagine it as being more of um, a day in the park. While that is not truly the case, I've even have heard people call it, gosh, what is the name of the author? Eat, Pray, Love. Her name escapes me right now, but I think she called it, even it's sort of eating a shit sandwich every day and not minding it. It's hard work, but you feel really called to do it. So, a soul calling and a soul mission, I tend to think of it as we being deeply rooted and ingrained and possibly even inspired by the hardest work, the hardest challenges, and the hardest healing that we've endured and overcome. And after we've done our own personal healing, we have often a burning desire, burning need to share what we've learned and what we're good at with other people. It's not necessarily true that it's always the case. I do think that you often can have artists, not just people who try to convey their deepest, darkest, uh, I guess, hardships and lessons on a canvas or in a book, but maybe people who are very motivated by beauty and maybe making earrings or making jewelry and other beautiful things. So, and that could very much be their calling, bring beauty and love and positivity into the world. So, I'm not saying that it's all hardship, but even people like that, um, for example, um, if you're thinking now of, I'm not sure why I'm blanking out on the names, but there are two comedians, Jimmy, gosh, I forget why am I blanking out on the names. Uh, they're explaining that their humor, I'm just in a deeper space that is not very logical. That's why. But anyway, many comedians and many entertainers and many people who bring beauty and all that in the world, when you read a little bit more about their bio, they have huge, big hardship and pain and suffering and loss and misery that they endured. So even though it might seem disconnected and they're just, bringing the good vibes into the world, I think it might still be stemming from a desire to heal and a desire to do something the opposite of what they've experienced. And who knows, that humor, that beauty, that whatever thing was what pulled them out of the misery, out of the hard struggles in their lives. So now, how to navigate, how to pursue, how to weave a soul mission together that needs to often also provide us some income, because we're not living anymore amongst tribes, amongst people where we barter, where we, you know, offer one thing, could be healing, like in the olden times. Everybody maybe had their specialty, and we didn't really need to worry about selling and, producing money to take care of, our other needs. People could provide that. Nowadays, it's a little different. So it makes it a little bit more challenging to transfer our callings, our hidden talents, our suffering, our lessons, our uniqueness, in terms of what we're good at, what we learned, into a world that needs it. We also need to look at sort of a hole in the market where not only do we need that, but where could we make some income? Where could we be compensated enough um, to be able to provide for ourselves? Because of the difficulty in this, there's also many people who tend to have a day job, set a limit with that, kind of understand it's soul sucking, kind of understand it's not fully their calling, but need to sort of do this patchwork, need to do this, I guess, compromise in some way, where they also try to do the best they can to help out, to whatever the job may be, um, but see that as a way to support their soul calling. That might be volunteer work, that might be their deepest calling, but they know that they're not going to be compensated enough to make a living, or to provide for themselves and be able to purchase all the things that they need. So hopefully this helps. What I have recently experienced, and I also see many of my clients experience, is that it can feel a little bit like a quilt, like a mosaic. Like you start off collecting things, doing things. There is often an aspect that feels catalytic and also very invigorating when you're doing your soul work. Like recently, I went to Suriname, and for the past 30 years, I've been doing lots of different things, but one of the things was being curious about suicidality. I did my research around completed suicides in Chinatown as far as 30 years ago. Worked with kids from people who were undocumented. Some were even crossing the border on their own and really struggling. Parents who were abusive and court ordered, Spanish speaking kids. So I'm saying I did lots of this work long time ago, alongside other work. So it's been a common thread, and perhaps not a full focus. But when I recently went to Suriname and found out how high the suicide rate was, suddenly it was as if this little thread, or golden thread, there's many different colors thread, I guess, but this particular one started to light up, I guess, and catch my attention. So then I followed it and saw, wow, there's been an interest in this for a long time, and perhaps it seemed like I sidetracked a little bit, but that was perhaps to gain more skill and more experience in other ways to more fully support this calling that I now feel to go to Suriname and help the kids and the families and the schools and the people there deal with this particular problem with this particular population. So sometimes it can feel like I said a mosaic where all the pieces start coming together and suddenly you see this big picture and realize, oh, okay, I've been working on this. I just didn't see how it was all coming together, but it is coming together. So that is what I want to do now. We're going to shift into this meditation and see if we can get some more clarity of the patches, of the little tiles, of this mosaic, of this quilt that you've been creating in your life. And sometimes we even see this golden thread or this continuity go further back, maybe even into past lives, and we get a sense of a calling or a burning interest and passion that was maybe always there or felt like it was even there in previous lives. And we even feel it extend to future lives or other dimensions that we're not so grounded in compared to this one. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to sit with our tree and enter our sanctuary now and try to get greater vision in the more expansive way and also in a deeper way and also in a more holistic way. Trying to open as many cards as possible, as many parts, as many leaves, seeing the whole big picture as possible. And and we're going to do this for the purpose of gaining more clarity, more confidence, and more soul authority. So let's sit with our tree once we've entered our sanctuary and feel our backs lean against the trunk of the tree. Feel the upper part of our bodies connect to the branches, the leaves, reaching upward and outward towards the sun, the star ancestors, and beyond. And we're going to do the same with the below dimension, really rooting ourselves into our bodies, into Earth, into our Earth Mother, and feeling the sameness as well as our uniqueness in our bodies. So, deepening our sense of connection, dropping into the legs, the feet, the toes, the roots, going towards the center of the earth and beyond, and absorbing all the minerals, elements, plants, animals, ancestors, and all who've come before us. And then in our heart center, experiencing this yin yang dynamic wholeness where all the opposites that we tend to polarize good, bad, black, white, seen, unseen, masculine, feminine, future, past, concrete, and spiritual. We're seeing them as distinct energies, but we're also seeing them as very interconnected. When we're looking at soul purpose work, we also want to see the individual and our oneness as two distinct energies, but also very interconnected, like an organ in the body. If it gets a little bit too blurry, too messy, you do get disease. And if you're too disconnected, even if it's your mind disconnecting from your body, you also get disease and the energy's not supporting and flowing. So that's what we're doing. We're thinking of our unique story, our unique pain, our unique gifts, and our lessons, our trials, and our tribulations. And then we're going to mesh that with the bigger body, what we're seeing all around us. What can we relate to? What part of us, maybe our adult self, is doing one particular way and has particular interest in something, but our child self at a certain age was maybe struggling with something else. And that child self or adolescent self or whatever age that self was, might be now having the loudest um, nudge or calling in terms of what to do. And it could be many different things. Maybe you do the thing that you felt you needed the most at 5 and nobody was supporting you. And then next, what you wanted at 13 and then at 21 and so on and so forth. But eventually, it might all come together. Right now, though, we want to see what is nudging, what is pulling your sleeve, what is pulling at your heartstrings the most. And it might be something you've already been doing, but you want to do a little bit more of it. You want to go deeper, you want to go further, or maybe you want to pull back. You're ready to pivot. So, for me, for example, I've done a lot of one on one work, also recently with kids and also with adults. And it's not that I don't want to do that anymore, but I don't want to deepen, I don't want to further and expand that part of my practice. I want to keep that stable and steady, and then I want to pivot and dive deeper in something that I did when I was working at UC Davis and did a lot of programs where hundreds of people would come um, I worked with lots of other interns, so it was group programs, but nothing that I did independently. I trained undergraduates, and my colleagues and I always worked together and collaborated. It was tons and tons of fun. And then I shifted and went deeply solitary for a few good decades. And now I feel pulled to again work in that collaborative form and see what I can do, but not with undergraduate college students, but with younger kids. So that's just one example of a thread of an interest in mental health, in well being, in harm reduction, in confidence building, suicide prevention, leadership with these different populations, but through different modes and modalities and formats and structures, doing the same thing, but pivoting and shifting in my focus. So maybe that is something that you're able to follow and see in your callings, in your missions and work you've already done. If you've done a lot of it, maybe you're brand new. I believe nobody's totally brand new, but maybe brand new in the sense of calling it this. For example, I was already counseling and listening and doing all kinds of things as a child, whether or not I was reading an advice column and having my own opinions, what was said, and whether I agreed with it or not, or whether it was with talking with friends. Some of our gifts have always been there, but maybe you're brand new to professionally getting compensated for it or calling it this. And maybe you are not new, but you are to take it to the next level and go deeper in terms of claiming it, calling it something, getting greater clarity. So let's work a little bit with air, fire, earth, and water to do that. Air, as you're zooming out, as you're bringing fresh ideas and new insights, reading more between the lines, seeing your highest through the big picture. See if there's some part of what you've been doing that you want to claim more. And maybe there's some words and images and things that are helping you cinch it in a cognitive way. Then with fire, what you want to do is really set boundaries with any parts of yourself that create self doubt, that are maybe wanting to undermine you or sabotage you, or wanting you to believe that it's not yours, or could be even past trauma or ancestral intergenerational trauma, which is totally understandable if you're, especially if you're a woman, if you're a minority of any group. We don't have a lot of role models or people um, that have shown us the ropes. And so, as a default, we tend to think we're not entitled to that. And who do we think we are? And all those things. So, fire is to help you set boundaries with that and really claim what is yours and feeling your connection more to your inner fire, your courage, your heart, that yin yang heart space, dynamic wholeness that is connected to the above and below. We want to now also connect it outward to your passion projects, giving you the courage, the backbone, what you need to know that is this is coming purely from your inner sacred mother and father creators, helping you to create and bring this into the world. So next would be earth, and earth is then once you are in this space and are able to hold your own and protect yourself with fierce firewalls and also this feverish like self-protectiveness, then you're able to set the stones, the foundation, the building blocks. You're much more, I would say, selective in making sure that your steps are aligned and not blind. So these are alchemy action steps. Each step that you take is going to shift something, is going to alchemize something, is going to create more and more healing, expansive, grounding, confident, empowering energy that you're going to embody, stand on. And as you do that, your emotions are going to be much more regulated. You're going to spend more time, more quickly grieving and turning that around into hydrating nourishment, tears that are going to nourish a fertile soil where you're planting new seeds. And it's also going to help to cleanse and wash away whatever is no longer serving the old self and the body. And so here we are back into the heart center, and your true compass is much clearer, much more aligned. And we want to keep doing this as much as possible and keep tweaking and clearing any magnets that are charged, any past traumas that are sidetracking us or derailing us in any way. So, hopefully, this has been helpful in clarifying a little bit more what your soul calling may be, how to connect it to past struggles, hardships, challenges, traumas, feeling victimized, could be even all the things that are happening today. Instead of waking up every day and feeling like there was another blow and feeling defeated, not stopping short there, but turning that around and really trusting yourself, your body, your wisdom, what is wrong with that picture, and trusting the positive, the integrative, the healing emotions behind that want to come forth, going with that energy, helping it, allowing it to catalyze you and find out where you are to express it, embody it, manifest it, and help bring positive change and transformation into the world. Now that I'm a little bit back to the surface, Howie Mandel is one of the comedians I was thinking about, his grandchild dealing with leukemia. We know how dark and hard it has been for him dealing with OCD and his germ fears, obsessions, and all that. And fortunately, he's been helped, but his humor has been what I wanted to say was very much tied into many of these dark places. So maybe some of these connections are not totally clear for you why you're doing certain things, But keep asking yourself, why am I studying this? Why am I doing this? What inspires me to do this work? What makes me feel so energized about this particular person or challenge or struggle that they're having? And that will make it more and more clear what you're here to do. And believe me, we need all the help we can get from all of you and anyone who wants to focus more on how they can serve and help others. Thank you for joining me today in staking out spiritual space in solidarity and in community. Please share this video and the Zoom link below with anyone who would love some support in hearing their authentic voice over all the noise and realign with clear choice. I offer me time through meditation virtual meetings every second and fourth Monday of the month from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. PST. If you would like deeper and more personalized guidance, how to heal, love, lead with soul authority, please visit me at soulauthoritycoaching.com or thesacredhealingwell.com for more information.